I had 24 days before I would be homeless in Australia. Not stressed, and not this is getting a little bit tight, but literally homeless. We had an Airbnb with 24 days left, we had no money to extend it, and no jobs. And flying home to New Zealand was realistically not an option unless we admitted to all our friends and family that we had blown up our lives for nothing. That's the story, and it's also the cleanest proof that I've ever had that your life doesn't change from motivation. It changes when you remove the escape hatch and you put a deadline on survival. This was 2023. In the year leading up to this, I had been traveling the world with friends and I'd burned through literally everything doing it. My savings were all gone, my credit cards were cooked, and I was living in that post-travel delusion where your life feels amazing but you've turned your financial life into a crime scene. And recently, after arriving back to New Zealand, me and one of the friends I'd been traveling with decided we were going to move to Australia. The thing was, we didn't move like adults with a plan. We moved like a bunch of idiots who thought something will just have to work out. I flew into Melbourne with $1,000 cash. My mate was broke as well. We borrowed enough money from a friend just to make the first month's rent payment on Airbnb, and even then, we could not afford to live normally. We rented one bedroom in a shared house in Carlton. We literally shared a room. 8 other strangers in the house, everybody in some version of chaos. This place was a fucking dump. It had rats and cockroaches. The type of house where you can feel the damp in the walls. Nobody wants to be there. The vibe is shit. And you already know the moment you walk in that you're not going to be able to survive there long emotionally. But here's the thing, when you arrive for the first time, you don't feel any of that at first. You feel the excitement, the new city energy, that I'm doing something, the fresh start, and the story that you're telling yourself that it's all going to work out and it's all novel. And my friend and I had been traveling together for 6 months and we'd been partying the whole way, living like we were invincible. So what did we do when we landed? Well, we did what idiots do. We went on a bender. 3 days straight, proper mid-20s stupidity. Rum and cokes, beers, late nights, coming in at 3 o'clock in the morning, like we'd just arrived to the fucking promised land. And then on day 4, the morning after, it all turned. It was a Monday morning, it was cold, it was grey, we were hungover as fuck. The room felt smaller, the house felt dirtier, even the air felt poor. And we did the only thing that you could do in that moment. We checked what we had left. And between the two of us, we had about $500 each to last the entire month. 28 nights already paid, we couldn't extend it. No money for a second month, no cushion, no safety net, already on a loan from a friend. We had 24 days left on the accommodation and the clock was real. So we literally did the most humiliating calculation. $500 divided by 24, about 20 bucks a day. That's 3 meals a day on 20 bucks in a city that you don't know, all while you're trying to look employable, while your nervous system is screaming that you might actually have to go home. So we went full survival mode. We downloaded every app, every discount, every coupon, the whole pathetic toolkit. 7-Eleven deals, budget fast food, anything that could keep the meals under $7. And the whole time you can feel the shame in your chest because you know exactly what you did 3 days earlier. We literally burned half of our monthly survival budget on alcohol. So now the fantasy's dead and all that's left is execution. And really in the situation, we did not get motivated. We weren't feeling motivated at all. We were cornered. And when you're cornered like this, the brain stops negotiating. There's none of this, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it when I feel like it. There's literally just do it now or you're fucked. So we made a rule. Every single day, we wake up, we sit down, and we apply for jobs. Minimum 10 applications. No exceptions. Nothing else happens in the day until that's done. Not when we feel like it, not after a walk, and not once we've had breakfast. Before breakfast. The first job of the day, every single day, is applying. And once we set that rule, everything changed. We were no longer relying on our mood, because trust me, our mood was not good. But we were working under a fixed constraint. The escape hatch was gone, and we were both low-key terrified. And in my case, the escape hatch was extra brutal because I'd already rejected a job offer back in New Zealand for 88,000 New Zealand dollars. So failure for me wasn't just I go home embarrassed and broke. Failure would have been crawling back to that job offer that I had rejected, trying to explain why I'd disappeared, why I'd gambled, and why I'd came back as a failure. That would have literally been, you tried, you failed, and now you're begging for the life that you rejected. And that was just not an option. So we locked in. And for about a week, that was basically all we did. Every day after we hit the 10 minimum, we usually just kept going. We took a walk and then came back and just kept going. And it worked. I got a job offer in about 10 days, and my mate got one a few days after that. Not because we were special or because Melbourne was a magical land of opportunity, but simply because there was no alternative. And the outcome was pretty wild. I turned down 88,000 New Zealand dollars and landed my first role over there on 110,000 Australian dollars, which, accounting for currency, is about a $30,000 uplift. It validated our stupid plan. It wasn't just we moved to Melbourne and we survived. It was a real leap forward. But the twist is that even after the job offers came through, the stress didn't fully disappear because I was on monthly payroll, which meant I wasn't going to see a paycheck for the first 2 weeks. So the Airbnb was ending, we already had rent to pay somewhere else, and neither of us had had a paycheck land yet. So I had to ring a friend, swallow my pride, and ask for a short loan to bridge the gap. 2 weeks, just enough to stay housed until the first salary payment hit. And then finally, the countdown timer was gone. Now, here's the reason why I'm telling this story. Not to romanticize struggle, and it's the truth that decides whether your life changes or stays the same. Your plan isn't real if it contains an escape hatch, a back door. If you can always go back to the old life, most days you will. If you can always delay the hard thing, most days you will. And that's not even you being weak, that's just you being human. Pressure beats motivation, deadlines beat feelings, and constraints beat intentions. So here's the law that I took from that month in Carlton, and I've watched it prove itself time and time again in my life. When survival has a deadline, you do what needs to be done. And when it doesn't, you negotiate with yourself until your life stays the same.